Okay guys, welcome back. So we want to dive back into probably more of our niche, into the fitting sort of aspect. So we're talking about lie angle. We're talking about the implications of moving lie angle. Not only do these sort of adjustments come with directional differences, we're looking at the flatter we make this iron, the heavier the swing weight gets.
Right. So we're moving the toe of the club lower.
Correct.
Further away from the top of the club, I guess, in simple terms.
Yeah.
And that makes the club swing weight heavier.
Correct. Because we are moving the mass
down
further away. We're effectively lengthening the club, is basically what's happening.
Yeah.
So the more that mass moves down, we are making the club fractionally longer. So between 4 degrees flat and 4 degrees upright, there's a playing difference of 1/4 of an inch.
Right. Quite a bit.
And there's a swing weight difference of just shy of a swing weight.
Yeah, just under a swing
About
weight.
0.7, 0.8 of a swing weight.
And so I think that it just certainly wasn't something that I understood to be the case. I understood the components making a difference, grip weight and stuff like that. So that part's surprising enough. I think people will listen to that and go, okay, well, if I'm only bending at 2 degrees, should I really care? Or, you know, I'm only bending at 2 degrees flat, should the length really matter because it's so fractional? But we were talking in the build shop, it's going to add up. Like that's going to add up with a grip weight change, with a shaft balance point change, all those things together. The club builder needs to be aware of it. It's not nothing.
Definitely. So as we kind of go upright, obviously the opposite happens. Club gets shorter, swing weight gets lighter.
Right.
As we move that mass more upward and closer to playing in line with the rest of the mass of the unit of the system that is the golf club. So understanding that, guys, probably puts a different perspective on when we make changes. It's not just a case of taking your clubs to the local customs shop and asking them to move those lie angles around a little bit from 2-3 flat to upright or whatever. There's implications to that.
Well, absolutely. If you then take a 1/4 inch on, you may change the path of your swing, subtly.
Definitely.
You may change your angle of attack subtly, and then you may go out on the golf course and see stuff that lie angle isn't only going to affect. Like we know lie angle can move the ball left and right, but now you're talking about moving a whole bunch of things at the same time.
And you touched on my next point, Matty, is the cause and effect of moving lie angle in a flight perspective. Oh, as you said, when we move this lie angle up, especially the more loft we have, we know it shifts the club face. When we flatten, we know we'll have some corrective bias to that flight. So let's see what that does to the other elements. Do you subtly manipulate your delivery from a 3D perspective, angle attack, path? What shifts around here when we do this?
Perfect, okay.
Okay, so we're going to start, just from a bending standpoint, make it easier on us. We're starting at the most upright, 4 degrees upright with this 9 iron.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's nice too. It's exactly, perfectly left. Smashing. It's nice. That's good. That's nice. Smashing. Lovely.
All right, so some interesting little changes as we went along. What did you feel when we switched up the lie angles? When the first time we went from the most upright to the most flat, we made an 8-degree change. I never told you, just to try and kind of almost take that subjective bias out. Did you notice that, a length or look or visual?
Visually, yeah, it all of a sudden looked, I did think you were doing them 4 up than standard.
Yeah, you just thought, wow, 4 degrees is a lot.
I just thought, yeah, because you bent it so much, I thought, oh, that must be standard. But in fact, it was actually 8 degrees. Yeah. So at that point, it became a real struggle to not make the ball go left. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The club definitely gets a little on the heavier side to swing. I think that's noticeable between the two extremes. Not so much in between, but 8 degrees of lie. I definitely notice what feels like a bit longer, heavier club.
So, as we see the influence the lie angle had to the face to path relationship, because ultimately that's what we're trying to establish here.
Yeah.
The path was on average about 4.5 in, 2 out. With the flattest, the face stayed quite a bit left.
Yes.
With the lie angle tilted down, and obviously that's going to promote a left miss, as we know.
Of course.
And it really was.
Yeah, pretty pronounced.
Really was. Face angle being obviously. That's open to the target, but closed, 2.5 degrees close to the path.
Yep.
That's what makes the ball obviously miss on the right-hand side. We know this is a bit of a nonsense with the representation. It was nothing like that. It was, you actually hit that probably something like up in here.
Yes.
Higher and a little bit toe side.
For sure.
And we would expect that, Matty. Upright clubs will play shorter.
Gotcha.
Right?
So that would expect that the strike should stray further away from the center.
Correct. So someone might, if you're exceptionally on the upright scale, you need that. You might, as a fitter, want to recommend a 1/4 inch extra
to offset it.
To offset that.
Makes sense.
If you think that that's where a player is going to sort of live from a delivery standpoint.
Right. Really interesting though. So the flat club, the strike theoretically moves further to the heel.
Yes.
And it also is already playing a bit longer. So we do get that question quite a bit. Can my lie angle changes change my strike? And the answer is yes.
It can. It can through length.
Through
length.
Okay, so that does make a lot of sense because I always thought, I get it, the face is moving, but how is that strike moving?
Correct.
It's because this is moving.
Correct.
The length of the club is moving.
Because the mass is changing its position.
Yes.
It's moving up and down. So that's why for you are more efficient or as efficient when you get on the flatter or on the standard side.
Strike.
Yes, because your miss is on the toe.
Yes.
So when we move the lie angle up, we're shortening the golf club, which is going to make you more in the toe.
It was worse.
Which is why you lose efficiency when you get a short golf club in your hand. We know that of wedges.
Yep.
Those move more toe side.
Gotcha.
So for you, if you can manage it, playing something either fractionally longer or fractionally flatter is good for your strike location.
Makes a lot of sense.
A lot of nuggets in there.
That's some great stuff. I mean, I'm just thinking to myself, if someone struggles with a heel strike, they'll take what you just said and flip it.
Yeah.
And think, oh, okay, well, maybe that's why I hit my shorter clubs a little bit more in the center. Like they would strike their wedges nice. I heel the crap out of my 4-iron. That person would be watching that and going, I get that now.
For sure.
Nice.
And
then so tell me swing weight wise, we know it wasn't a ton, but does this make sense? So the heavier swing weight, we did see that when we did the driver builds that were very extreme. Remember you giving me the really light swing weight? I hooked it or pulled it. That's basically in line with this. And then the heaviest swing weight tended to stay out to the left for me.
Yeah, it's compounding, isn't it? It's compounding other things. It's lighter, which compounds with more upright, which is compounding with the face angle. And it's like when you layer things on top of each other, that's when you get a compound effect.
Gotcha.
So, that's what we're seeing in this case. And even thinking back to you with your driver.
Yeah.
When we saw, Freaky Deaky getting very toe up, right? Sometimes that toe strike with the toe up and the shorter effective club is a problem for you.
So that's why a driver that ends up more dynamically flat for me, I don't tend to toe it as bad.
Correct, like what we found now that we've subsequently been testing you with Sub-Zero.
Sub-Zero is probably
that into that
2
flatter
degrees
range.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So I think there's a lot of nuggets in there to take from that. Lots and lots. From a launch angle and spin rate perspective, nothing crazy.
I mean, it could be more
on.
extreme for somebody else, but I think that top right there, those are the 3 ball flights, obviously. If you threw this club on a robot and swung them, they're going to pull, center, and push. That's what's going to happen.
You know, looking at those two from a distance perspective and a ball speed perspective, it's moving that strike from toe back to middle. Toe back to middle. It's not so much, you know, we're not sort of advocating that you need to play them that flat, but we just know that actually not so much the flat, but actually the length is helping. The length is the bigger thing. So maybe there's a conversation where you add a 1/4 inch of length onto your clubs now that we've seen this exercise.
Because I hit them all on the toe, that's for damn sure.
And it's not something that we see as a you know, temporary trend. It's what you always do.
2 years of this. No, it's really cool though, because I love that. People are always asking, why would I change the length? I'm an average height person. Why would I change my length?
Yeah.
That's one reason.
All right, guys, we probably extracted more nuggets out of this video than we even thought we were going to.
Agree.
Which is cool. We always enjoy that. It's on the techie side, so bear with it. Maybe, you know, the tech savvy aficionados amongst you, watch it again. Maybe watch it a couple of times and just you know, let us know if there's questions that come out of it. Leave those in the comments, and we'll try and dive in there and maybe explain some of the nuances of this, because I think this is, you know, not to kind of make it sound like we know more than anyone else, but I think this is fairly high level. I
agree, and I think there's some really kind of sneaky fitting tips, especially for irons.
Sneaky fitting tips.
Some serious ones where fitters will look at that and go, ooh. I can help someone move that strike quite a bit.
Definitely, and little things to keep up your own sleeve to maximize your own fitting experience when you see things. You know, arming yourself with knowledge and information is a good tactic towards getting the most out your fit, making sure you're not walking in there and going, okay, over to you. You know, what do I need? I think if you arm yourself with good information, you guys will get more out of this process as well.
That's a great point.
Cool, excellent. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you again soon.